Welcome everybody to League Zero Season 5. I am Joe Razor, joined here by Gum Sauce, and today we are going to take a peek into the Advanced Division to see two teams who probably have two very different expectations in Redveil and Genetic. And Gum, I don't know about you, but I'm excited to start League Zero. We've had a big off season. There's been a lot of questions about Overwatch. Um, and now we're finally here. We're finally back, and I don't know. I'm just excited. Are you excited? I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited because this is actually my first time casting. I've been
Yeah.
long into a League Zero, been playing Overwatch since it came out, and I'm just as curious too how Overwatch 2 is going to play it out. Now that we can't really see professional teams really play 6-man anymore since they're all transitioned to 5 players, I'm very curious to see how everyone interprets the meta right now.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting point. I mean, the meta is so completely wild right now in a lot of these tier 3 and tier 4 tournaments because of the fact that, like you said, there's no pro gameplay. I mean, the closest thing we have is open division and collegiate. And
Mhm.
collegiate's in their off season right now.
Yeah,
And so you
absolutely.
saw some teams during the fall kind of copying the collegiate teams, and now you're seeing teams copy the open division teams, but the open division teams kind of just half of open division is filled with teams that are full of one tricks. And so it's kind of creates this weird circumstance where nobody knows what they want to play. And you see situations where some teams are playing Wrecking Ball. This team's playing Reinhardt. This team over here thinks Double Shield's the best comp. This team, for some reason, still thinks Double Bubble's good. And you get these very just strange situations where teams are just kind of playing whatever they feel like. And I can't remember another time that's like 2018 where this has been the case in Overwatch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And speaking of teams, I'm quite interested to see how these two teams stack up. And we got a lot of veteran talent on Redveil versus a pretty newbie team on Genetic. Being here since early inceptions of League Zero, I would see a lot of familiar faces on the Redveil side. While Genetic, I think the only one I really remember, besides knowing the manager Lotus, who he was the DPS of Double Clap back in season 1, which used to be Double Cap. There's really only sees like Tevatron. Everyone else is kind of fresh to my eyes, and I'm really excited to see how they play out.
Yeah, I have some experience with Chief, but that's about it. And of Tevatron, like you mentioned, but it is definitely a more rookie roster, especially compared to Redveil, which I know every single player on this team except one. Like,
Really.
yeah, this is a roster that is absolutely stacked. I mean, obviously, we got to talk about X Runner, who
Hmm.
has been he's a freak of nature on the off tank.
Oh yeah.
Last season had an incredible season, and looking to carry it forward here into this season. And you look at the rest of the roster. I mean, when you have Emma and Cough Drop as your supports, it could be quite a scary support line to go up against. And the rest of the team rounds out super nicely. So this
Yeah.
roster is really terrifying. And if you are genetic, you're gonna have a tough game ahead of you. And they're gonna need to come up with something big here if they're gonna have a real shot.
Mm. I mean, absolutely agree. I mean, they have a quite big set of shoes to fill here, but I mean, one thing I can say is that it's still early. This is the very first week. There's a lot of time to adjust. A lot of these members on Redveil have been in teams before. I'm not sure on the other side too, but we're about to enter a game, so ready to see how it runs out.
Yeah, for sure. The Jang Tower is our opening map here. And we're going to start in Control Center. So definitely an interesting point because I talked briefly about Reinhardt comps. This is really the out of all the control points, this is the one we're most likely to see Reinhardt. I mean, it's a very close quarters map. You can see uh, a lot of symmetric comps on here, and so it is definitely interesting to see if the teams go away from the Reinhardt sim, which we have
Mm.
seen some of recently due to just Reinhardt kind of falling out of the meta. But I do expect to see Reinhardt sim from both sides, as you can currently see Genetic coming out on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I definitely hope that's the case, but I'm looking also at Redveil over here. Are they serious on running? Okay, it had to be a joke.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, we're seeing almost
Teams are
mirror
out.
comps. Only having one DPS difference, but the Doomfist requires you to play a lot faster than having the Junkrat.
Absolutely.
So you see two completely different speeds, and Azali with the opening pick, you can see that aggression required from the Doomfist, and it results in some great openings, taking down the Junkrat, then taking down the Reinhardt. So this will be a very quick fight win here for Redveil. And as soon as I mentioned it, you can see the big difference between these two styles.
Absolutely. I mean, we just saw right there, they kind of backed off as soon as they lost two, and they're coming back in. They did a little switcheroo, and oh,
Yeah, you can see a little fight here going on over in White Room, and it does cause X-Runner to lose the mech as well as the Immortality field, but the Reinhardt's going at it, bringing Brock down extremely low. These T-Guns due to that Junkrat damage, so you have a man advantage for Genetic as they try to push forward, but they are met with a Baptiste window that they will counter with one of their own. And at this point, you're really just looking at scraps if you are Redveil, so this should most likely be a capture for Genetic. A nice attempt there from T-Guns with the Earth Shatter, but doesn't quite connect, so this will be the flip.
I mean, that was a bit expensive, but I think it would definitely have to be worth it because you want to get as much early points as much as possible, getting on point as quick. And I'm kind of excited to see how the rest of it plays out, just because everyone else is kind of building up to the odds where we see that we have both walls available for the Symmetras. And now the one thing I'm actually really looking into seeing is how the supports go. Which
Yeah, you can see the Flux kind of try to connect them on that high ground near the Mega, and it doesn't result in much, but these both Sim walls kind of create a stalemate for just a moment. Earth Shatter's going to get blocked, and now you can see the aggression starting to kick in for the side of Redveil as they're trying to capitalize on the sound barrier, and this will result in two opening picks. So big advantage currently for Redveil, and this will most likely allow him to clean it up, and it does, so nicely done there. But 45% build up for Genetic.
Yep, I mean, that was definitely worth the L, so they committed to it. Up and look at that, Chief is switching over to the Cassidy. Almost got it switched up around. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to counter more of the Doomfist.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if the play is yet to just completely counter Doomfist. If that's like, I think their solution
that was a really
for this
nice
comp.
move.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if you saw, but Shupek actually managed to boot forward Emma, which results in the death. And once you lose your Baptiste, it can be very hard to sustain. So you can see they're being put on their back foot. Members falling extremely low. X-Runner will lose the mech, but you can see Azali trying to pull up a play, but just gets hit with the flashbangs and taken down. So this is looking incredibly good here for Genetic. They manage to pull something up, but as soon as they save that, you can see the respawn starting to come through the Symmetra wall at a 2k for X-Runner. So, bit of a caster curse there as the flip does come back over for Redveil.
Absolutely. Now this is it. This is basically Final Fight territory. There's not a lot else to play with either. We got Shatter, we got basically Deadeye, and maybe a wall if we can get in time, but this is getting really shaky. There goes Shatters, both Shatters.
Yeah, I mean, you can see T-Guns makes it essentially results in 2 kills, and this will just be the cleanup. A really nice ending there for Redveil, managing to hold on, get the win here on Control Center, and overall, I just felt like they played with an extra pace. I mean, they just seem to be outpacing Genetic the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was as you mentioned, the speed, having that Doomfist on the composition. Junkrat's are really great for getting like those one-hit kills, but I mean, if they're going too fast, there's not as much setup time, I believe. And, seeing how the advanced interprets meta has become quite fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. As we move forward on to Night Market now, and once again, I would expect to see possibly the same comp. Wrecking Ball has gotten a lot of play time, but on this point specifically, but these Symmetra Reinhardt comps are still fairly good. And it looks like we're just gonna... I was gonna say straight mirror. Okay, Emma will go run to the back. Was hovering the Ana for a second, but it will just be a straight mirror here with the Doomfist Sim.
I think hopefully Genetic learned their lesson, wants to stick with a Doomfist 2 to match theirs. They realized they couldn't counter it with the Cassidy, so let's see how it plays out. Is it going to be the experience, or is it going to be the style, the gameplay?
Yeah, interesting rotation there from Genetic. Go around the main side, and a very interesting play there from Tevatron, and does not quite work out as Glacial does take him down. And I can see Redveil kind of hunkering down here on the objective. they have no reason to push forward as Genetic need to come to them. And when they try to, they get absolutely destroyed. So this will be Redveil taking the first capture.
Okay, so now this is the hard part for Genetic, to find a way to get back into the map. Looks like they're going to stick with the same composition. They're not going to make any changes. Oh, there it is, actually. Lotus is switching over to the Cassidy. So again, so now we have a Cassidy and a Doomfist. So I'm not sure how this is going to exactly play out, but I think they're really concerned about the Doomfist. I think that's what's really winning them some of these matches.
Tevatron just hit 5 down, but the Immortality Field, Boop, and Boop kind of create a situation where they weren't able to get any follow-up. And so now this fight is flipped back over in the advantage of Genetic, but the Steam Bomb from X-Runner has something else to say about it. Very back and forth fight, but it appears that Genetic has regrouped and taken control of this. Only the Reinhardt and the Baptiste remaining for the side of Redveil. And so in all eventualities, this will be a cap here for Genetic.
Yeah, I mean, that was for minimal effort, actually, honestly, I felt in that fight. They didn't need to commit too much of their economy, their ult economy. And now we're going to see how it plays out. What we have really left, we have a couple of things built up for Genetic, but
that's a great start there.
Taking
down the Symmetra, that's a lot of the damage gone. And when you lose that amount of damage, it can be hard to win the fight there. So they will manage to clean it up. I'm not sure when it happened, but Lotus actually has swapped off the Sim and Gun over to the Cassidy. I think you mentioned that. Maybe I'm going crazy.
So yeah, I mean, I feel like they're really knowing Lotus, he's known to be a hit scan player.
Yeah.
And so they're a little bit more cautious about the Doomfist, so I feel like they're trying to counter it.
Yeah. Soundbearer now coming out for the both ends, and Earth Shatter's going to knock 3 onto the ground. And Genetic seem to have caught a second win here in this map. Tevatron with a big play, and that will close out this fight. Easy does it there.
That was absolutely clean. They committed both ults for the supports, so one thing I'd be cautious for is just watching out for what they're going to be running with Emma. She has hers when they're ready to go, but there's not really a lot that will go through it.
Yeah, you can see the Fire Strike go through, but actually got sent out right before. Earth Shatter's going to come through, but ends up getting blocked, but the Doomfist still does not have the same ending, and so an incredibly aggressive engagement coming through there from Redveil is going to result in a fight win for their end. And 89% build up, though, for Genetic, so nothing to scoff at. They're only really needing to win one fight to win this point.
Yeah, that's final fight territory now, and actually I take my word back. Emma looks like just popped off, got 2 picks with the window, so excited to see how the rest of this map goes out with how the supports are playing. And
great high noon. Manages to catch out Cough Drop there, and without the speed boost, they can't rotate back to point quick enough to dodge the members of Genetic. So this will end up being a cap here for Genetic, but a good fight being put up there by X-Runner just all at the point for quite a bit, which will buy time for respawn.
Okay. They got only a few more points left to get until they get to the point, so who's going to touch?
Looks like should be the Wrecking Ball, and yeah, it is. So
yeah,
that will trigger the OT, but goes down immediately, but a huge play from Cough Drop.
The double boop, and they swapped over from Emma, swapped off from the Baptiste onto the Moira just to get on point a little bit faster.
Yeah, this is looking really nice there. I mean, a huge boop from Cough Drop to set this up, and now the members of Genetic are falling like flies, and so at this point you're looking at 15%, and then this entire map could go the way of Redveil.
Absolutely. This is again in final fight territory. Here it goes.
Yeah, they get the tag onto the objective, and the window will allow an opening pick there onto X-Runner, who has yet to remap. The Doomfist will actually result in the kill there onto Lotus, so this is definitely possible for Redveil to take this.
Absolutely, and I've been noticing a lot that even Genetic, they're getting a lot of the first picks in these fights, but sometimes they're winning them, sometimes they're losing them. It's just too hard to tell yet with how these teams work, but there it is. Look at that.
Yeah, so a good 2K there from Glacial. You'll see Chief come back on the Doomfist to try to get a tag, but that's going to be it. Map 1's going to go the way of Redveil, and that first point looked pretty dominant, but that second one was incredibly close. It looked like Genetic had a chance there, but wasn't able to close it out. So nicely done there from Redveil to take the first map.
Absolutely. And again, I was putting some hope. I mean, I have my fingers crossed because in my mind, I know a couple of the players there on Genetic, and I really do want them to kind of win. And my heart's like, I want them to win, but my mind's going logically. I feel like Redveil has definitely the advantage with just the veteran stats alone.
Yeah,
Thought I was
so
out of this line of business.
nicely done from them. Now we will prepare to move forward into our next map. So, believe we will be moving on to map type. Do we move on to actually? I think it's hybrid, but I'm not actually entirely sure. So, I'm just gonna roll with it being hybrid because that's what it normally is.
Yeah, I would
So.
assume so too, but see where the rest of the match goes.
Yeah, for sure. So I was definitely impressed though by the pace that Redveil played at. I mentioned it a few times,
Mhm.
but they just seem to be playing at another speed compared to the rest of the team. I mean, the other team, excuse me. And
Yeah.
Genetic just seemed to be playing catch up a lot of the time.
Mhm.
Whether that's because they either lost their Lucio in the opening fight, their comp sometimes just wasn't as fast, like we saw in the first point, or they just weren't able to move at the same pace that Redveil was.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, it was like the Doomfist pick, knowing basically your compositions. I mean, am I going to go in fast and hard, or am I going to wait for them to come to me with like the Junkrat, for example, on control, on control center? So, what I would like to see, honestly, is Genetic to adapt a little bit more. They were adapting mid fight when they were switching from the Kree as their comfort pick, but I guess what we have to see is it looks like we're coming up to King's Row, and there's a lot of opportunities for back and forth fights here. Lots of roads to see if they're, I mean, if they're smart enough to say use more of the high ground, if they're willing to switch around and use different routes, flanking routes, and kind of see how the teams kind of play out.
Yeah, for sure. King's Row is just a reminder. So Genetic will be picking here because they lost the opening map. So now you're looking at them feeling confident in their brawl, I imagine. I feel like they have a good reason to. I mean,
Yeah,
we saw essentially a brawl mirror that entire time, and Genetic looked pretty good on it.
yeah,
They played Redveil close in that first map. They looked fairly impressive compared to my expectations. And so if they could put up if they could just win one more fight, right? Then, or like two more fights, and if they can just not overextend or have an individual again opening pick in one extra time, then they might be able to turn these fights that they were losing into fight wins. And if they
yeah.
can win those fights, they can win the map.
And I believe most of it is on the back of Tevatron. I've just been seeing
Dude,
how Tev is
Tevatron.
yeah, like just being like the dominant tank, kind of wanting to be aggressive and just hoping that the rest of the team catches up with him. So there,
Yeah, people were kind of down on Tevatron preseason, but I mean, this guy is he's shown his worth here. I mean, he's had some huge plays, and he hasn't really been outclassed in any point so far.
yeah. I mean, a lot of these players might be diamonds in the rough for the most part. We might not know them, and we have expectations already set for Redveil knowing some of these players, but it's a little bit more curious with a Genetic and how they play out and who these players are for the most part. I mean, with the exception of a couple of them that we've seen before.
Yeah, interesting comp here from Redveil. They're running like a dive comp on King's Row. I mean, they're playing Overwatch 2 here
Yeah,
with the
Yeah,
the type of comp they've rolled out on.
yeah,
Except-
they're running in fast and hard.
Yeah, it is definitely interesting though, that they're running a monkey comp, but then they also have Ana Lucio. Tevatron's gonna die. He's anti 56 health. Gotta be careful. Will manage to get healed up, but their off-tank blues is not so lucky. So now you're looking at one tick. Second tick already being built up. They're kind of stuck at this choke point. This is gonna be a first point cap here for Redveil extremely quickly, it looks like.
Yeah, I mean that was impressively quick.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what they were trying to do with that dive. Essentially, I mean they have Jakisas on the Winston instead of the Brian, so I think they were again running that aggressive speed. I think that's what the name of the game is.
They're still in there.
They're still in.
They're losing players, and then the players that are remaining are still running in, and then they just get respawned. I mean, look, they're popping Primal to kill the tanks.
Yeah, they just need a hard reset and just take the L, let them, move
They're
the
not
cart.
letting them reset. They're chasing
Yeah,
them into their spawn.
yeah, they keep going forward.
We're on third point here. They finally will back off, but oh my.
Yep, I mean, a common play now here is for the red team, essentially, Redveil to just be dominant, hold the front up to point B, and then force them to basically take over and try to protect B.
Yeah. You can see they are going to try to go in with an engage, but you have the sound barrier from Shopak to keep him alive for a little bit, but Cough Drop will be able to trade with the sound barrier of the zone. The Earth Shatter on the back does cause some problems for that backline of Redveil, so the supports are kind of been taken out of the picture, but this is kind of just all over the place, and I think you're looking at a genetic win because they essentially just sped towards the backline, killed the backline, and then Redveil the rest of the team just followed suit.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of split the team in two almost with that. I saw Blues just chasing the other half of the team while the other team was, the other part of Genetic was going straight forward, and I guess they kind of figured out the answer. And look at that, we switched Jakesis is now back onto Orion for another brawl.
Yeah, Nanobu's going to go over on the Doomfist instead of the Reinhardt here. Bomb comes over the top and actually managed to take out the Baby Diva of X-Runner, and this aggression that we just saw come out from Redveil gets punished in this fight, and they still do manage to find 2 kills, so they're not entirely out of it. If they could take down Blues on the cart, then they might have a chance, and they do actually end up getting the DMAC, but with the rest of the members of Genetic returning to the objective, it looks like it's a little bit too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually a really good retake, I'll be quite honest. I didn't expect Genetic to hold there, but I think I think their focus, the target focus was just on point of that fight. And here it is again, the cleaning up the other part of Redveil.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Redveil there just kind of try to hold some space, but Jakesis' shield gets broken, and then Tevatron follows suit with a shatter. Glacial does pop Doom ult. It looks like he just didn't. It might have been a fat finger. I'm not entirely sure because he did like right outside his spawn.
Yeah, and he was low on health, so maybe he was afraid, and maybe it was a fat finger, but more like cold feet.
Yeah, possibly. Oh, Bob gets stuck on a wall. That's so unfortunate. Nanoboost though goes forward onto the Reinhardt of Jakesis and manages to result in the kill of Tevatron, but now you have the sound barrier coming through from Shoepak, and this allows for some great aggression coming through from Genetic. They look so much more comfortable on this Brawl Cup that we saw them in map 1, and so far Redveil, they've been struggling. They do manage to get a late pick, so they might have a chance to re-engage.
Okay. It looks like, yep, there comes a re-engage already. So I was going to say maybe they're coming back just to set up together, but I think they're just going to go right in for it.
Yeah, but they lose Glacial, who for some reason is still on the Tracer nearly immediately. But there goes down the Baptiste, so now a lot of your healing gone. And this could create a situation where Genetic do not have the resources to sustain through these fights. And now Cough Drop has the sound barrier, which creates this aggressive playstyle from Redveil that we saw him put to great success earlier in the series. And they do find success here, cleaning it up. 3 minutes now on the clock for third point.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, like, these were very expensive fights, and it's still going on. Okay. It looks like I'm hoping that...
duped Bap to not die, and Jakesis just win. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, they're trying to touch point. They're basically trying to touch spawn at this point. I'm in. Oh, and there goes a boop.
Yeah, I mean, there goes this Ollie off the edge. I'm not really sure what's happening. I'm not gonna lie.
They're committing these late fight ults, and I'm just curious. Are they swapping?
Just like running at people, popping ults, dying, and then they're like, okay. It's like they have a line of people, and they have an order in when they're supposed to pop ult. They're just like they're just waiting their spot in line to pop their ult.
I mean, do you feel like they're just not respecting the team, or just kind of going in and just like monkey braining in because ooga booga run in?
I think they're just showing some disrespect here. I don't think they're fully respecting Genetic, but now you can see Genetic coming with some aggression of their own. I'm not sure if Stream can see chat, but you saw Tevatron jump directly onto Emma with the shatter, and so Emma puts in the chat fan behavior. But yeah, some great aggression there for Genetic.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I mean they retook their corners here, so
Yeah, now they're trying to re-engage here on this corner, like you mentioned. Window does create some problems, but sound barriers at the exact same time for both ends. But the Diva Bomb coming over the back, it splits up this team. This Dragon Strike does the same for Redveil and allows him to get a pick there onto the Mei and the Reinhardt, and continuing to find more and more value as they will push forward towards the spawn, trying to take down the backline as the Diva of Blues on the side falls ever weaker and gets DMAC right before the Immortality Field reaches him. Tag's going to come through under the point from Tevatron, but it might be too little too late. And we got a Boostio up in here on the cough drop, and this will be a 3rd-point cap. Minute left on the clock for Redveil.
That was incredible. But you know what I saw? I saw a tale of two sound barriers. One team, Redveil, kind of went forward with a sound barrier, and then the other team, Genetic, kind of ran back with their sound barrier. And I'm a little confused. Usually when you have a sound barrier, you want to kind of go forward, conflict with them, but I saw them kind of running away. And it's like, oh no, what are they doing? And then I guess we kind of saw the result of that. They took space really dominantly, and I think that's what really won them that fight full-handedly.
Yeah, I would have to concur. I think that's a great point. The sound barriers from Redveil. We've seen this. We saw it a lot on map 1, and the fights that Redveil have won here on map 2 have been when they are just a little bit more aggressive. And
Yeah.
you saw it there in that final fight. There was a little bit more aggression coming out from them, and they managed to get the wins off of it. So nicely done there. And now we will be switching sides, and with a minute on the clock, it is not the greatest Kings Row tech. It's definitely respectable. So if you are Genetic, you're looking at needing a really good first point, because second point can cause some problems. So they really need to get a good first point here if they want to be able to try to match the time bank.
Absolutely. They showed a lot of life and a lot of skill sets on point B. And so I'm hoping that if they know how to defend it, I'm really hoping they know how to attack it too.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that was a very huge anti.
Yeah, it is a really nice anti, and you can see it just delays them for a moment while they heal themselves up. And now they will try to rotate through Hotel because this double shield comp is set up on this opposite high ground. But little do they know, Azali is sitting there waiting. The Junkrat manages to find 2 kills there with those concussion mines. And if you're on the side of Genetic, that's gotta hurt.
That's an absolute quick reset. And this is, again, a double shield comp. And, you know, you don't see those too often nowadays. But they figured, well, if we don't even get them onto point B, maybe we don't have to worry about it in the first place. And look at how much ult charge Azali already has.
Yeah, Azali's been built up that tire super quickly, but now you're going to see a full comp swat coming through from Genetic. Kind of going over onto a dive comp of their own with that Tracer Echo. But once again, an opening pick, Azali takes down Tommy Weasel, and now a Riptire as well. Huge plays. I mean, simply a J Silly differential.
Honestly, I mean, this is I guess either they're gonna have to stick with this comp or find some more swaps, because now they're committing. And look at that, they swapped over the healers. They're just trying to find a solution to this problem, which is the double shield and Azali being on that Junkrat. It's like a mixture of diving and getting their brig to maybe for more brute healing.
Yeah, and maybe also to try to catch Azali out if they go on a flank like you're seeing right now. And Chief's actually going to fight him. And this could really be a big engagement, but it's going to manage to survive. But Emma is not so lucky. And a great boop comes through there from Blues to essentially clear off that high ground. And this looks like the best chance Genetic's had in quite a bit, but it still results in Tommy Weasel dying. So now you lose your Ana. This could cause some problems with Tevatron getting hit with an anti-nade, and members are still dropping for Genetic. A Bongo as well to celebrate their victory, but a lot of members were lost there for Redveil.
That was an incredibly messy fight, and what came out of it, honestly, is just a couple of the ults being pulled out, and they had some opportunities to go in, but I think they just lost too many players too quickly, and I don't think I'm not sure how they can do this now. They're on the ground floor.
Yeah, it's definitely a good question. You can see Glacial goes over onto the Ashe, and the Transcendence from Emma's going to keep him up for quite a bit, but now you have the Primal Raging Winston in the back. And with the help of that and a good engage, it's going to result in the death of Jaquisis and Emma, but the trades are still there as X-Runner and Azali do not want to be out of this fight just yet, but they will have no choice as this is going to end in a fight win there for Genetic and nearly a cap, but Jaquisis switches over onto the Wrecking Ball for a last-minute touch, but that's all it's going to be, a last-minute touch.
Yeah, it's giving him a little bit of an old battery at that point. I mean, they're pretty far forward, but he's lost 2 players. And what I've seen a lot with Redveil's comp is it's going to be pretty strong when they're split up just because you got the Zen and you got the Ana. Not a lot of area of healing as much as single target healing. So they're hoping that they split up and get a couple picks and run out and take a man advantage in these fights.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Emma was there.
Good question too, honestly. I think it was just a bit of a stagger from when they were forward.
Yeah, possibly. But you can see there, Junkrat now is intentionally on the flank, causing some problems as Jaquisis goes over onto the Roadhog. Roadhog on King's Row is not something you see every time.
No, I mean, this is a very selfish comp, and look at that, he just immediately died off of that.
Okay.
This tank comp is...
Duplicate Ashe, get 2 kills. I guess that works.
Yeah, I mean, it's moving the cart forward. I'm not going to complain, even though the comp's a little bit wonky, but I'm just absolutely curious what Redveil's comp is. I mean, I don't quite understand this. It doesn't seem very defense heavy.
It is a very strange comp. I mean, especially with this dive that is continuing to find value. They just feel they're playing a very anti-dive comp, except they're failing to do the anti-dive part.
And yeah, I mean, I think finally Genetic's catching on to what they're doing. Like, I feel sometimes they're meme packs, or maybe they're just waiting to use ults.
The Flux miss. Yikes. The Flux hit nobody.
I hope he's swapping. I don't know.
I think he just genuinely was trying to go for a Flux. The supports were both like alone, and just missed. But the Bob does not miss. The Bob has auto aim, and that will allow them to take down the support line. And a Riptide can be sent to the spawn to try to get any late kills, but overall, you have to be probably happy with this. They do have to waste Resurrect on Glacial, but it's all good.
Yeah. That was, again, a very expensive fight for both sides, and yes, we just have to see whoever takes the first pick, or either whoever gets it first. I mean, there's some potential right here. What if Blues can get a bomb, or just take out their tank line? Yep.
That's a big pick there to take down the mech. And I can see Emma and Azali are kind of on a little flank here. And they actually managed to take down Jopek, but Azali and Emma will soon be taken down themselves. And now the card's going to start to enter this final stretch here. 2 minutes left on the clock. And a great shot from Sheaf to take down Glacial.
Okay, Redveil, I'm very curious why you're committing to this tank line, actually. I mean, you would think, fool me once, shame on, you. Fool me twice, shame on me. They're running this tank line that's, I guess, more focused on DPS than on actually holding a front, and they're just taking care of it. It's mind-boggling almost.
Yeah, I mean, Lotus continuing to find kills, a 3K there. And they do manage to fight a DMAC, but the cart is less than 5 meters away from the objective. And I mean, that's Glacial's 4th kill here. Glacial managed to get another kill here to create an opportunity where they may be able to stall this out, as Lotus, who did find 4 kills, ends up falling down. Riptide comes through on the back as well. They might actually hold this gum.
Oh, I thought they almost had it in the bag. I'll be quite honest. I thought maybe they'll get, better time bank. But looks like they miraculously, I think the Redveil miraculously held it back. I think it was just on the hand of having Jaquisis go back to the ball and just hold just a little bit, just enough time for everyone else to respawn.
Yeah, for sure. As see the clock ticking down here, less than a minute. So no matter what, Redveil will have a better time bank. And because they have over a minute, if the clock from Genetic gets capped in overtime, they will not get another chance at attacking. So this is looking pretty good here for Redveil, and essentially every outcome at this point for this specific round.
Absolutely.
You can see the engage coming through onto the back now with Glacial and Jaquisis, but does get interrupted.
Okay.
Anubis now onto the Winston, will engage onto the back. Good pulse bomb stick results in Glacial dropping from the fight. So even engage here, but losing Tevatron was gonna be huge because you don't have your Winston, and now we're gonna be entering overtime here shortly. And a Nano Boost goes forward onto the Sigma. This is looking really good here for Redveil.
Absolutely. I think that's it. I mean, there's a couple of staggers, and that's really, I think they had a bag, they had a hand in the bag, and just a few ults was able to hold them back.
Yeah, this is looking good. Redveil, barring a miracle touch here, will take it, and they do. So map number 2 goes the way of Redveil as they head to match point.
Wow. Okay, so there's quite a bit to unpack here. Personally, just because they were playing some really wild comps that I was never
Yeah.
expecting, and at the same time, again, I was asking, is it disrespect, or is it just like they just are committed to a certain play or ploy? But I think we kind of have an idea of what they're looking to do. I'm just a little flabbergasted that they actually also that he completed, that he defended with it, with a tank swapping left and right too.
Yeah, it was a very strange map.
Yeah,
There was like it made sense at first, but as it went on, it made less and less sense. But in the end, I mean, Redveil looking really good here still, continuing to show why people expected them to do really well in this match, and they're continuing to do real well in this match.
mhm.
And if you're on the side of genetic, got to figure something out. You got to figure out how to recapture that magic you had for that attack uh, on King's Row here. They really looked like they figured something out, but they just weren't able to continue to have that present.
Yeah, I think again it's gonna be part of his also experience with teams. I feel like some of them on the side of Redveil already kind of know how others act, while on the side of Genetic, they've never really been a team together before. So it's a mixture of trust in each other's players, as well as also just mechanics too. We got a pretty stacked lineup on Redveil, and Genetic. I'm not sure if they fully know what they were getting themselves into in this fight, but here we are.
Yeah, here we are as heading into map number 3. Genetic's map pick once again, and it's going to be Gibraltar. Interesting pick here. We saw them get some success on the dive comp, and I guess that's why they want to go to Gibraltar. They could continue to play the monkey, which we saw them get value on. They can play that echo. We saw Lotus absolutely pop off there at moments on the tracer. So
Oh yeah.
this is a map that feels like could definitely favor Genetic because we've really only seen Redveil play Roadhog and Reinhardt.
I mean, in the beginning, Jaquizas did use Winston to get that first point, and I mean, I would think that Jaquizas still has some cards up their hand that might still work for them. We can't just say for sure just yet. I'm still confident it might be a 3-0, but I want to still put a little hope out there for Genetic to kind of pop off and put some trust in their players and see kind of how the rest of it runs out. Honestly, Tevatron, he was doing really great on Ryan. I was excited to see him. His monkey, pretty great too. So I guess the only thing we have to do is just have our fingers crossed and see how the match goes for Genetic, and hopefully they can turn it around.
Yeah, for
Oh,
so we are just waiting on everybody to be ready and then we can hop in. But I'm definitely curious to see if Redveil do come out. Like you mentioned, we saw Jaquizas pull out that Winston. They played Winston comp very briefly there on Keystra. But that when they were playing that comp, they played it like a brawl comp.
yeah.
And that makes me wonder if they know or have the ability to play that dive comp like a dive comp, or if they will continue to try to kind of brawl with it. Um, you can run kind of these more brawly dive comps on Gibraltar, but your more traditional dive tends to work a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, mainly it's because of the verticality of the map between point A, point B, and point C. Finding a way to get your tanks up there is a little bit more difficult in a brawl than it is on a dive. So I would hope that both teams would be doing dive, but seeing what Redveil did last round on defense, anything's up in the air, honestly.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
They are
okay.
still waiting to be ready. I thought the teams were ready, but then we're not going in. So who knows? We'll get in
Yeah,
eventually.
yeah, they're
Um,
having a little spat, maybe. I mean,
yeah.
not every day things go smoothly,
Yeah.
unlike some brains that we've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. Hear me out. Do you? I think we're gonna see some Doomfist again.
Yeah, I mean,
I
why
think we're gonna see it.
yeah, why change what worked? Even though this map is not really the best Doomfisty map, I'm
I
hoping someone like Lotus can possibly knock them out or just counter them.
Yeah, I was really thinking that Redveil might come out with it. I probably expect to see Tracer Echo coming through from the side of Genetic, but I definitely think we could see some Doomfist come through from Redveil.
Yeah, or what I think would be more exciting is a Widow fight, but
I would
anything's a
love that.
possibility. Yeah, we'll see what the players pick out.
Yes, I'd be a big fan of some Widow. When the Overwatch 2 beta released, the original one, I haven't gotten into this current one.
Mhm,
I essentially played, I only played Overwatch 2 for like a week, and I
mhm.
only played Widow.
Really?
And it was simultaneously the best and worst mistake I've made.
How so? Was it just oh,
Well, I got bored about day 3 of playing Widow smartly, so then I just started playing Flank Widow every game.
just
And the people I
surprise
played
headshot?
with were not a big fan of it.
No.
But, you know.
I'm like, come on, Widow, you're not supposed to be a team player.
Yeah. It's going to be an Ashe on defense, though, so no Widow,
Oh.
but we do see an Ashe coming through from Chief. The attacking, though, instead of a Doomfist, we're going to see Genji. So we're almost got 2016 dive here. Just replace the support line, and then we got some good old 2016 dive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised both teams did not go for a Mercy. I would think that would be a little bit easier to run, but again, this is advanced, so I hope that their big brains are thinking of some other strat having it. Maybe, actually, yeah, I'm curious about it. I'll just watch and see.
Yeah, good DMEC there, but you saw a little bit of an engage coming through onto the high ground. Also, wait, how is Emma... I'm not going to ask how Emma's got it.
I'm just as curious too. I'll be quite honest, but here they are. They're
Emma got there before the fight even happened. Miracle, really is
an absolute miracle. And here we go. This is the last
What?
stretch of point A, and they got again the team right up front. Emma.
Okay, that was a incredibly nice setup there from Azali and Emma, and they managed to execute it perfectly. Nicely done. And now you only have the Tracer on the point for the side of Genetic, and once that's cleared out, you will see the first point capture. Really nicely executed first point there from Redveil, and while the pulse bomb gets eaten, there's no way to stop this Dragon Blade from Azali, which will use to clean everything up.
I mean, again, I'm seeing this again and again with Redveil as they are sending the team forward, cleaning up Genetic before they have a chance to even touch the point, go back onto defense, and now here they are, they're resetting for a second time.
Yeah. You can see a fight over spaceships going on. I mean, this is really at the heart of second point. And some great shooting from Azali causes Tevatron to lose his life quicker than he expected. And another great anti-nade from Emma. I mean, this duo of Emma and Azali has been ruling this map so far.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little curious. Tevatron kind of went up there by himself and had no sightline with Tommy Weasel, the healer, so I'm a little concerned on the coordination.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the engage there come through onto the side, and they managed to take down the supports. And I mean, if you're on the side of Genetic, you are getting absolutely rolled here so far. And now the Primal Rage to take out the Diva. This is looking really not good here for Redveil currently.
This fight is going everywhere. The teams are split into two again, and it looks like Redveil just took advantage of that. I'm not sure what it is. I think they're just trusting each other to take it, or they're just like, hey, let me just go in and see what I can murder before I die, because we've got the point anyway.
Yeah, that definitely interesting. You see the Bob come through onto the point, causing some problems, and you see the Bob trying to find really any targets, just rally, and the defense matrix makes it kind of neuters its possibilities, but Glacial in the back takes down Chief, so looking good start here. Now you have the nano boost that goes on to Azali, who has this Dragon Blade, looking for any kills, manages to find 2 kills there, nearly finds the third, but doesn't even need to because they're scurrying away into spawn.
Yeah, I guess now it's confirmed Azali is not a one-trick Doomfist. He's playing the Genji incredibly well. And I'm not sure how they're gonna react to this.
Yeah, they need to figure something out here. And I mean, you can see they're just not allowed to leave the spawn. And the pulse bomb from
Ooh,
Glacial finds the support,
the support line is
but
gone.
but they do manage to find 2 kills now, Genetic. So maybe they have a lifeblood.
Yeah. And when the picks are going back and forth, we get respawns for both healers. A Reaper is out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at this currently, the respawn advantage is in favor of Genetic, and now you have the Nanoed Reaper who manages to find 2 kills. And this was looking so good there from Redveil, but Generic pulled it out in the final hour.
Absolutely. And I feel like they're kind of preventing the inevitable. Just looking at the ult change, the ult economy between both. I just feel like at this point, it's just a matter of time before they take third point. They're putting up a good defense though right now. They're on the cusp of losing this point, but looks like Genetic won another fight. Looks like.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really good engage here from Genetic. They're kind of just not letting Redveil take any space.
Yeah, it was a pretty strong reset. I didn't expect the Reaper to work, but here we are.
Yeah. You can see they're trying to fight over this corner here, and if you're on the side of Genetic, it's a good spot to hold. They seem to have fallen off though, because this quarter becomes hard to hold once they manage to actually push past the quarter. But Jaquez pushes up a little bit too aggressive. Looks like he was expecting a nano boost that never came his way. So
yeah,
this will be the end of the fight.
That was all the curious. I was about to say, like, both teams had their nanos ready. I was gonna see who they wanted to pick, but
I guess.
Okay.
That's one of the more interesting plays I've ever seen. And they're winning though. I just kind of had to stop and admire what I was watching. This looks like Azali said, "I'm blading," and Emma's like, "Whoops, okay, have nano boost." Even though it was kind of beneficial to nobody at that point to pop that nano blade. And you can see why it's not beneficial. I mean, they're struggling to win this fight despite having 3 kills to open it up. Divalon could change that, and it does, managing to find 2. So now they're in a winnable position, but the respawns continue to find kills.
Yeah, that X runner bomb right there just kind of shows and proof why he's on the team in the first place. They're still putting up a fight again. How many people did they actually have on point? How many teams does Redveil? I feel like they're fighting these fights that are already lost and saying, "Hey, maybe we can still win it. Maybe we can still win it," and then they're just like juicing up the economy for Genetic.
Yeah, that's the difference between good and great teams, I find, is knowing when a fight's lost. Because you will see these great teams take a fight like that and end up winning it. But then there's other times where they have the same type of fight and not go for it. And that's something that you just get with time, is knowing which fights your team can and cannot win.
Yeah,
but at this point, they almost have another Nano Blade. So
yeah, I guess it's like, hey, I messed up last time, but they still got another minute to see if they can make up their mistake.
Yeah, a little bit too aggressive from Tevatron, but has the Primal Rage to stay alive, and there's the Nano Blade.
Oh.
Manages to find 1, but is he going to get booped off? Barely manages to stay on, but only 1 kill off of 2 ultimates, so not what you're looking for there if you are Redveil. And our members are falling slowly. Tevatron is falling fairly weak. And there's the Death Blossom trying to close this out, but gets stunned out by Cough Drop, who ends up finding the pick there onto Tevatron. And it looks like Redveil has, in the end, broken through and will get the cap with 15 seconds in the time.
15 is better than none. But that was quite a fight too. Honestly, just looking between how both teams played out, it was really scrappy. Just absolutely everyone just going in like, yeah, I feel like Redveil was like, yeah, I'll win every fight. It doesn't matter how many people are out on my team. But then you go like 1v6 and go, oh, maybe I should retreat, run back a little bit, not give them an ult battery to charge up their ultimates, give them their ult economy. I think that was what was really slowing down Redveil during that attack. They just kept on letting Genetic build up their ults.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, Genetic felt like they always had ultimates to work with no matter the situation.
Yeah, as soon as they hit point C, at least, they just ran through point A and point B. I was surprised actually they dwindled down the time bank that far. I mean, I was thinking by 3 minutes, oh, they'll be done with 2 minutes on the bank maybe, but I guess they kept on going. Whether it was Redveil's mistakes or if it was just the fact that they kept on building their ults in time.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. So now switching over. Interesting choice here from Redveil. They're gonna pull out Gay Silly here on the defense. We saw Zolly get great value on the first or map 2, excuse me. But Kings Row and Gibraltar, two very different maps.
Absolutely, and I'm confused. I mean, why would they do the Junkrat here? It's not fathomable. I mean, I guess maybe from early on attack, but you're really limiting yourself just based on like the range with Junkrat. And you have a dive.
I mean, you could hold the high ground really well. It can be very hard to control the high ground if you are genetic, but they can just push cart.
Yeah. I mean, we have Tevatron going right in with the tanks, and
definitely not Tevatron's brightest moment.
No, he got deleted immediately. I think he was hoping for more support, and then just the sheer damage kind of took them all out.
Yeah, you can see they're trying to find this hallway, but there was also a DMAC there of X-Runner. Not the greatest start. And now you're looking at a situation where Genetic do have a situation where they could possibly engage here, but Tevatron getting antied and brought down to 1 HP.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like that's what a lot of their focus is putting down onto the tanks. I mean, without the tank diving in, I mean, what else are they going to do for the rest of the team? And that got blues.
Yeah, I mean, Pulse Bomb comes through into the back and actually gets the baby Diva and sniping people as Azali taking down Shopak. And this Junkrat comp has worked fairly well, but now you have the Primal Blade coming through from Tevatron. Managed to take down Chiquisis, but it looks like that's all it's going to get, but does buy a lot of space. And Chiquisis is a fairly big pick being the main tank.
I mean, this is, again, the third or fourth time this match that they're split into two fights. I mean,
yeah, I mean, now you can see they're forced to fall back. They look like they want to try to still hold on to this high ground, but I don't know how realistic that's going to be. Yeah. Now Riptire comes through from Azali. This could be big if he can get a pick onto the back line.
Oh, and it's gone. And it's gone. You know, I mean, again, both teams they don't have a lot of ult to play with except for maybe their bomb and.
Yeah, bomb comes through, takes down Tevatron. Good start. Now they're going to be sent back, and Redveil's Junkrat comp is doing some good work here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised. I think what they're doing, they're just forcing to close in the space between their fights, and whoever Azali is going against, one half or at least the full team is going forward with him.
Yeah, but look, it looks like they're a little bit too far forward, and two members who drop, but X-Run is showing his worth. Gets Pulse Bomb eat there onto Lotus, but
yeah, I
losing
mean, again,
two members means that Redveil can't hold the space as well.
No, exactly, and I think again it's always the overextensions that's really their what's making them lose fights.
Yeah, but I mean, once again, they overextend, but by the time they kind of regroup and the engage comes through, they're prepared to win the fight, and they do win it here once again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they shouldn't be winning these fights, but they are, and
we're on Roadhog now. By the way.
I just noticed that too. Like the sheer chaos of point A.
I mean, this is crazy that Redveil's winning this. Redveil's just flexing on him at this point.
Yeah, I think they realize. I think what is Chiquisis, I think he's like, okay, we're this far ahead. I can meme a little. I can go on the Roadhog. It'll be funny for the cast, for the stream, and I don't think they're worried about the consequences. I mean, not there like there is much consequences at this point. There's 25 seconds left.
Yeah, Bob's gonna be deployed.
Bob, where are you going? Oh.
Yeah, where is Bob going? 2 kills there from X-Runner onto the back line. 10 seconds left on the clock. The Nano Boost is there onto the Winston, and an anti-nade does collide with the Zolly, but you need something else. They will trigger overtime, but you need some kills. You need some cart progress if you want a shot, and it looks like they will not be finding any of this. 3 members still alive here from Genetic, but this is not going to last much longer, and this will be Redveil taking the 3-0. Map 1 and 2 were a lot closer than I expected, but this final map was an absolute stomp. So Redveil taking a 3-0 win.
Absolutely, and that was I mean, it was not surprising, but just based off of looking who got drafted into each team. But yeah, this third map was absolutely sheer dominance on the side of Redveil. I mean, I can admit easily that they put Genetic definitely put up some great fights during the whole season, especially here on defense, like I said. But Redveil just found a way to cut through, whether they were on defense or on offense.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. I mean, Redveil just looked to be a step ahead everybody there. Nicely done, and win for their side. And I mean, if you're on the if you are a member of Redveil, you have to be happy with your performance there. Taking a 3-0 is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see how the rest of the season will run out. I mean, they looked extremely dominant here, but again, we have to see how they go against other teams too. Some maybe that have a little bit more experienced players.
Yeah, for sure. So we are in for an interview, I believe.
And everyone's begging Emma to get in.
Yes, the match chat wants the Emma interview. But I mean, Emma played really well. I was very impressed with Emma's play today. I mean, there were so many situations where they were getting big anti-nades, big sleep darts, and just hitting shots as well. So overall, it was a really good game.
Yeah, Emma definitely played the role of that flex support incredibly well. I'm a big fan of flex support players. I'd be quite biased on that just because I played flex support for many years. I'm just are we actually doing an interview? Because I am quite curious about that because I am a little bit inquisitive on some of the plays that she made, including some of the little bit later ones on this map. But overall, I think she played outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get her in.
So
Okay.
we will be right back. We're gonna go to a quick break, and then we will have Emma to talk about this match that was just at hand. We will be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back, everybody, to League Zero. We are joined here by Emma of Redveil. Congratulations, Emma, on a great win today. Just how are you feeling after this win?
Thank you. I'm feeling pretty good. We've had a lot of scrims and stuff leading up to this, and we feel like this is a very solid start to a great season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys played very well. I mean, a dominant 3-0 there over Genetic. And I just want to ask quickly. We saw a bit of Roadhog shenanigans in two different scenarios. Were those planned comps, or were they just kind of something you pulled out for fun there late?
That's something we've planned. We spent a lot of time in our VOD reviews, and that's just like something we've theory crafted before would be the best for specific situations, and we just followed the game plan.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely worked there. You guys managed to, of course, take the win, but I also have to ask, on Kings Row in particular, there was a few situations where things looked a bit dicey. Were you guys worried at all that you guys might lose that map?
I mean, like going into the series, we obviously respect Genetic a lot as a team. We think We actually think that like they're very underrated in the league. So we were pretty nervous about every single map. We try to keep focus and not drop anything or drop any momentum. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I definitely have to say, I mean, your playstyle is quite incredible, and I feel like I was kind of like, man, Redveil can't be serious with the Roadhog, and I'm kind of surprised that it was planned, it was theory crafted.
Mhm.
Beyond that, do you have any like synergy that you built up ahead of time with like some of these your DPS players like Azali ahead of time, or was it just kind of, hey, let me just run with it?
I mean, we do a lot of like for DPS, it's a lot more of like, hey, let's just run with it and just like experimenting on the fly because our DPS are pretty decent, so we trust them a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody you want to shout out before we let you go?
Uh, I think I have to shout out to Cough Drop, the main support for my team. I think they played a super solid series and definitely helped us bring the win home.
Yeah, for sure. So I believe that's all we got for you. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you, the viewer, for stopping by. It was a good day of Overwatch, a lot of fun. But I believe with that, we will be saying goodbye once again. I was Joe Razor. This was Sauce here. Fun day. Hope you had fun for your first cast.
Absolutely. I mean, I maybe fumbled a little bit on the very first map. I was kind of getting a little bit of nervousness out of it, as well as kind of remembering all the characters and abilities and everything. But by the time I was like the second map, I was like, okay, I think I got this down. So I'm definitely excited to continue to see how the rest of the season rolls out and how everyone else plays. I'm just like really excited to see season 5 of League Zero.
Yeah, I sure am as well. But with that, that's gonna be it for us here. I was Joe Razor. This is Gum Sauce. Knock on wood was your producer for today and streamer, making everything work. And so big shout out to him and big shout out for the teams for playing. I mean, they put on a great performance. But with that, we will be saying goodbye and we hope to see you next time.
See you later.